morning, everyone, and welcome back to Chit Chat Today. Today is going to be a good old-fashioned chit chat, get ready with me, my favorite videos to film, my favorite videos to just kind of sit down and share what's on my heart or what's going on in my life with you. And so that's what we're going to do today. So get yourself some coffee. Do you see the steam? Oh my gosh, so satisfying. This is my third cup though, so I'm hoping I almost sounded like Moira Rose there. Let's just get into this before we just go down an entire bunny trail for 30 minutes and not put a stitch of makeup on. Oh, favorite creamer ever. Coffee Mate coconut cream. I've told you that probably 100 times. If you haven't tried it, I don't know what you're doing with your life, but you need to go and buy that. Okay, so today I want to use the Charlotte Tilbury Light Wonder Foundation. I have shade 4 in this. Oh, isn't this cute? So at the Nordstrom anniversary sale, I told you guys, or I bought this in gray. Well, I had to go and order the green. I didn't get it on sale, but I think it might be on sale right now. But this is the North Face hoodie. It is adorable. It is so comfy. It fits well. I love these little button details. It comes in a few colors. I'll link it below. But I was so excited that I could wear this today. I even painted my nails a matching green color because we got a cold front last night. So like yesterday morning, it was 73. Then by evening, it went down to, oh my gosh, like 53. So this morning was cold, wet, rainy, and dreary, and I've never been happier. Now, mind you, if I lived a place where it was like this consistently, I'd be griping about not seeing the sun. We just came off of like consistent sun for many, many months. So I was so excited. I told my husband, I said, last night was the first night that I didn't wake up sweating, because every single night I wake up sweating, even with AC on. I sleep, like I have all this in my bed, but I actually only sleep with a thin flat sheet because it's hot. Even with AC, it's hot, right? It's humid, and I just have a hard time sleeping when it's that warm. But man, last night I slept so good, and I remember waking up in the night thinking, I am so cozy and comfortable right now. Why am I holding my ear like this? So anyways, I was so over the moon that I was able to put on sweatpants and a sweatshirt today because honestly, I know it's not necessarily cute, even though it can be, but it's like my favorite outfit is sweatpants and a sweatshirt or a t-shirt. What I like about this foundation is just how glowy your skin looks. Super youthful, not heavy or cakey. This is a visor approved foundation, meaning you can pull down that visor and the bright sun out in your driver's seat. Well, maybe not in your driver's, you should not be driving. You know what I'm saying? Just pull her down and you won't see foundation or cake face. I don't know. I used to do that. And now I'm kind of like, it doesn't look so good because it kind of settles in, well, new lines and stuff like that. So you can still see like redness peeking through and freckles and stuff like that. But at this point, I'm okay with that because I'd rather see that than see makeup plus that. Does that make sense? All right, Mcgrath Concealer. I've been enjoying this. I think this is pretty full coverage. It's serum-like. I really do so little. I think I might do a little around my nose here because I'm starting to get like little broken capillaries. We don't want to look at that. So I think I'm going to be uploading this after Halloween. But I'm going to insert a picture of the pumpkins that we carved. Chloe wanted a kitty and Isaac said, I just want just Jack. He wanted just Jack's face. And so my husband carved them. I watched and cheered him on because I wouldn't say that that's I've never actually carved pumpkins, to tell you the truth. But I just let him do it because he's artistic. Like, he's good at drawing. I can draw. I don't want to like undervalue myself, but I'd use the word maybe a little more abstract. Like, not like realism or like, hey, I want you to draw like a real person. I can make a person. It just might not be a photograph version, you know? So I put them out on my front porch and I put those flameless, flickering candles in them. And they look so pretty out there at nighttime. And then I put some candy corn. They're like these lights that Walmart has. I know we're past Halloween at this point, but it doesn't matter because when you plug in these lights, they're candy corn lights. That's what they look like when they're not lit. But when you plug them in, they just kind of all glow the same, similar color anyway. So to me, it's like harvest. And so I put them on my front bushes, and so it's kind of like a fall harvest. We're heading into Thanksgiving next. Just a little something I like to decorate for all seasons. I don't know if I want to set this today because I'm finding that any powder just is starting to look not that great, but it's a little tacky. So I'm going to take the Charlotte Tilbury powder. This is a really nice invisible powder. If you're not a powder girl, well, even if you are a powder girl, I mean, it's invisible. I don't know if even people that love powder or need it, I don't think anybody wants to see it. Like, you want it to work without being like, oh, hey, you know. So I'm just going to dab. I usually do just the absolute smallest amount. And then whatever's on my brush, I just kind of take it T-zone. I think it's because I use retinol. Well, I know it's because I use retinol that my skin gets these little dry patches, which normally is not a big deal, but once you start applying makeup, then it's all of a sudden they become apparent when they otherwise weren't. I spoke about this in my October favorites, the Marc Jacobs Omega Bronze Tantastic Bronzer. I really like this. I think I like it because of the tone. It's not super yellow or super dark. I feel like it's a nice bronzer. I might have had a little residual bronzer on this brush to tell you the truth. Oh geez. I don't want to admit to how long it's been since I washed my makeup brushes. But I assure you that all summer long, you know, in our remodel process and all that, and just having everybody home and it's hot, I wasn't doing makeup. So therefore I wasn't washing my brushes. I probably need to wash this or I'm going to give myself some sort of nasty breakout, but I don't wash them as much as I probably should. I'm going to use these Hourglass Powders, and I think I'm just going to use all three because why not? So I'm going to dip into the Radiant Light. This is such an old palette, and look, like it looks barely used, but I assure you I've used it a lot over the years. But I really like these. I feel like the difference that they make on your skin is super subtle, but I love subtle makeup. I love makeup that just presents itself so beautifully, but it's so understated. It doesn't scream from the rafters, you know, look at me, I'm a metallic highlighter. Like, I'm not into that. I'm more into something like this. This is incandescent light. It's more like, oh man, people notice your skin or you before they notice the makeup, but then that's because the product is so great that it's not, doesn't have to scream, it just is. I love stuff like that. And with this foundation, gosh, you really don't need to go ham like I just did with the highlighter because it's just so glowy already. And then I'm gonna take the Dim. You can use this as an under eye setting powder. I'm just gonna do that, just a little. They better never discontinue this eyebrow pencil because it is so spot on to my natural eyebrow color that it just looks so incredibly natural. A lot of other medium brown, if you will, or even drugstore pencils have such a warm undertone to them that they just are not right. It needs to be ashy. Or I've encountered some that are too dark, just too brunette, and that doesn't look good. I'd rather have something, if it has to be anything, just a smidge lighter, but it needs to be the right undertone. Because I can always build something up, but man, this is just, it always works for me. I haven't really veered from this. In the past, I've tried other brands, but it just works, you know, and when something works, I don't really feel the need to go off and try to find a substitute when it's like, I got the real thing here. Why didn't you tell me that I got my blush too heavy? I am notorious for putting on way too much blush, and then when you sit down in front of a camera, this camera picks up tones because it's even making my bedding look a different color than it truly is. It highlights certain tones and makes them dominant, and it's usually not a flattering tone. I've noticed that. I'll watch it back and be like, ugh, that doesn't look like, why does it look like that? Or my face, like my freckles, it'll like highlight the warmth in them, so then it makes me look dirty, and I'm like, no, that's not good. Speaking of a product you don't need to veer from, the Milani eyeshadow primer, it works. It's inexpensive. Like, I remember I used to buy all these more expensive ones, the Too Faced Shadow Insurance, which I don't think I've heard a single person mention that in years. I mean, once you buy a tube of this, it's going to last you for a very long time. So if you already got it, whatever, it's fine. I'm just saying, this is so inexpensive and it gets the job done that I feel no pull to try anything else. Can you still buy these? I guess I haven't looked on any of these websites to see if any of these are still available. I'm going to take Makeup Geek Beaches and Cream. It's just a matte cream shade with a little bit of peach. I've been loving a very simplistic eye. Like yesterday I did one color and I thought it was very, very pretty. I had to go borrow apparently my daughter's mirror now. She staked claim on my mirror and she's got her little bracelet on it. She made a little makeup vanity because she got some, ooh, this is so much better. Why didn't I do this in the first place? I've basically been getting ready blind. She got some makeup, like some fun little play makeup for her birthday, and she was busy making her own little makeup vanity. I posted a picture of that on Instagram, and it's so precious. I don't know if she put anything on today. I mean, it barely shows up, but you know, it's just, she enjoys it. She sees me do it, and I don't know, girls, I mean, she's artistic as it is, and she's kind of messed around putting makeup on me. Okay, she has natural talent for sure. Like, she knows, she's watched me layer colors. Not that I know what I'm talking about, but if anything, she should probably have should probably be pretty good at putting on makeup, just because I'll be able to teach her what not to do and learn from me, and she's just got natural artistic ability. All right, we're gonna grab a peach smoothie here from Makeup Geek. This is also, you know what this color is. It's a super peachy shade. Looks like I hit pan on this. This might be the only shadow I own that I hit pan on. I'm probably the only person in San Antonio with their windows open right now. But I love these cooler days. It's like I will purposely crank my AC just to be able to snuggle up and wear all my cutesy things. Now, mind you, we will get a little bit of cooler weather. It's just, it's not consistent. It's here or there. And so when it does cool off like this, my cats love when I open the window. And I just love to be able to air out the house too. Ooh, I love this color, Nylon. Do I want to do nylon or rice paper is another one I really like. Dazzleite's pretty though too. Let's go with Dazzleite. We're doing the world's most boring eye makeup look, but honestly, I've discovered over the years of doing this that because of my eye shape being really far set back and then I have all this bone right here, I can't do what I see everybody else do because my eyes are different. And so when I do too much dark, I don't like it on myself. I really like a light lid. I have a lot of lid space, but I don't like when I put too much dark on there. I do it sometimes, but every time I do it, I'm like, I don't like this. It changes how I look, but not good. I mean, obviously makeup changes a few things or highlights, you know, I want to highlight the good stuff. Like, I don't want to be highlighting something that, you know, I probably shouldn't and make me look different. So what are you guys watching right now? I have finished all of the show Schitt's Creek on Netflix. It's so funny. I think the first and second seasons are my favorite. I know the first season is what hook, line, and sinker. I'm like, this is different. Like, this show is different. Like, it's written so, it's so witty. You know, I love wittiness. So I just finished that. I took a huge break from Shameless. I just kind of got, like, I wasn't loving season 9, and I was like, you know how you struggle bust through something? You're like, man, I'm this deep in it. I have to finish it. But you, like, force yourself to watch the episode, or you're, like, fast-forwarding through it just to kind of get it over with. That's what I was doing with season 9. But now I'm on season 10, which is the current season, and I'm about to finish that show. That show's crazy. Not exactly a wholesome, heartwarming show by any means. Entertaining for sure. I wouldn't watch it with kids anywhere within earshot, however. All right, now what are we doing? Now we're really bright. Let's add in a little depth and a whole lot of liner. I'm gonna do Cocoa Bear by Makeup Geek, one of my favorite warm browns. What else? Oh, last year at this time, I was hardcore watching Downton Abbey, like binging the whole thing. If you haven't yet watched that, you need to. There haven't been a lot. Oh, I know. We started The Last Dance, which is that documentary on Michael Jordan and essentially Scottie Pippen. So we'll start episode 3, maybe tonight on that. We're just kind of waiting on seasons of things to come out now. And because of this whole year not being exactly a normal situation, there hasn't really been any movies coming out. The Great British Baking Show. The next season of that just came out on Netflix, so we've been slowly watching that. But every single time I watch that show, guess what I want to go and do or consume? Yeah. So I've been baking again. I don't know what kind of person you are, but here's the kind of person I am. If I watch something that inspires me, sorry, it's my cat. Olaf, just leave that. If I watch something that inspires me, it like literally inspires me that moment. And so, especially if the show is about food, I'm like, oh yeah, we should go get a snack right now. Because I'm always hungry for a snack. I mean, or second dinner. We joke about that all the time, but it's a thing for us. We have our first dinner, and then usually about, I don't know, when the kids are asleep, 8:30, 9 o'clock. I'm like, you know what? I could go for this. And my husband's like, yeah, me too. And we both have no self-control or strong wills when it comes to saying no to food. And together we consume second dinner. Please tell us we are not alone in this. And if we are, those of you who can stick to something, I'm just not good at sticking to anything when it comes to food. I just am, what do they call it? A seafood. See it, eat it kind of thing. So I bought a whole bunch of baking chips, all varieties and kinds, and I'm gonna start baking. But you know what? On a dreary, cold day like this, it's a great time to put on like your favorite movie to listen to, get in the kitchen, bake some cookies, get yourself a hot cup of coffee, just set the mood and enjoy the day. Cause like that's what life is enjoying the day, enjoying the little moments, right? I told my husband the other day, I'm like, you know, this moment right here might be better than many other large moments I've had in my life. Like, it's just the little things. For me, I'm really big on lighting and setting the mood. My husband jokes with me all the time. He's like, you have too many lamps in here, you have too many lights. I'm like, no, I don't. Because they all serve a purpose for different times, different, moods. Maybe people are coming over and we need to see each other. Or maybe we want to have low lighting to watch movies and stuff. And I was watching Jaclyn Hill's Instagram story, and she was talking about this exact same thing. I'm like, see? She gets it. She's like me. Like, lighting is everything to me. I have flameless flickering candles everywhere, and I have lamps plugged in, that I leave on all the time, just low lighting, and night lights for the kids, or even not just the kids. Like, people come over and they stay in my guest room. Like, I don't want them to trip in the dark on the way to the bathroom because it's not exactly close. A little more, what color is this? Vanilla Bean. This is a color by Makeup Geek. And I'm going to stick around my brow bone. It's just a really subtle sheen here. I think that's why I was sharing in my October favorites too about like the cozy factor, how to add cozy to your home. I should do a video on that. Maybe I should save my thoughts for a video. I'm not good at like saving all of my thoughts for like separate videos. I usually just jam everything into my Chit Chatter Day, and then I'm lost for video ideas because I throw it all into one. Lately I've been thinking a lot about, let me zoom you in a little bit. I don't like it too close, however. So yeah, you can see what I did is just super simple. lately I've been thinking, I don't even know why, I've just been thinking a lot about when we lived in New Jersey and how much I actually really enjoyed living on the East Coast and how it was not anything that I thought it was going to be. Let's see if I can do liner and talk at the same time. Now, mind you, when I moved to New Jersey, I had never left Wisconsin. And I hadn't really been, I mean, I've been a few places, but not to live. And so my expectation of New Jersey was, I was like, well, it's right outside New York City. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be just houses and nothing pretty and no country and all this stuff. Wrong. It's actually a really beautiful state. And after seeing a good handful of states in the U.S., it's very lush, very green. In fact, they literally have bushes growing on the power lines and like trees wrapped around the power lines, and that always baffled my mind. I'm like, how can that be safe? My dad worked for the power company for many, many years, and he always said we had to cut the trees away from the power lines because, you know, storms and knocking power out. But nope, they just let her free-for-all grow like crazy. But in Jersey, we had seasons, and I was kind of chatting with my friend that I made when I lived in Jersey. We would get together and we would have coffee, and she would always have something sweet to serve. And it was just such a good time. And I was thinking about that. I was like, man. Then I got to thinking, like, how did we meet? And it's always interesting. I love to hear stories from people of how they met. So at the time, I had just Chloe, and she was going to be 1. And I was going to get 1-year-old pictures done because I was going to go home to Wisconsin and visit and have 1-year-old pictures done by the same photographers that did my wedding photos. And I was looking for one of those tulle skirts with the top and like a bow. And she had an Etsy shop, and she made, I mean, she's a fantastic sewer. Sewing, just made all kinds of things. Very, just very artsy that way. And so I mean, out of all the Etsy sellers, I had clicked on her, and I'm like, wait, she lives like, you know, like 10 minutes from me. I'm like, well, that's crazy. And so I bought it, and I can't remember how it even came about. Because, you know, if you buy something, then they usually send it to you. But I don't know if she messaged me, or I guess I can't remember the fine details on how this worked out. And I remember my husband thinking, you're not just going to go in a car and go to a stranger's house. I'm like, no, we chatted back and forth. And it's funny now because hindsight, I've done that a lot with you guys. And that's how I've met and made great friendships with you, is that same interaction. And it's like, you kind of know if a person's not, I mean, I never had any feelings of hesitancy or like, oh, maybe we shouldn't be doing this is bad. Like, I would heed that feeling if I felt that way. But anyways, so let's see if I can do this. We started hanging out, and lo and behold, she's a wine drinker. And at the time we had younger children. So I was telling her now, I'm like, you know what? Our kids, you know, this is 10 years later, our kids are much older now. We could have been having wine dates instead of coffee dates. Loving this combo, the Lancome Eyelash Primer. This is good stuff. This is just a little sample that I got here. Been using this. So I'll put it on like so. And then I'll let it dry. And then I go over the top of it with the NARS Climax mascara. I'm playing around with lips. I put on Dior Incognito. It's one of these Dior X. What did I say? Dior Addicts. I don't know if they make any of these that I still have, but I was looking for something that's a little bit like a fall nude, but it's not too light. So I put that on, but let's play. I'm gonna do a little bit of a lip liner over the top. I do this from time to time where I line after, and none of these are, what is this color? No, all these are too light. Right now it's like a guessing game. You just reach behind and grab some out. Did I grab any that will work? Not really. Let's take Laura Mercier Plumberry. And it needs to be sharpened. Hold up. I don't know. I don't know if I like an overlined look on myself. Alright, so let's just put a little something over that just for fun. MAC Twig. I grabbed this color. I thought this looked like a really pretty fall color here. I like that. But it's still not giving me what I want, so let's take, remember Vintage? I always talked about Vintage. Vintage is also a really good one, and so is Spotlight. Why are you so itchy? Let's put a little bit of Spotlight over the top. Yeah. Oh, I love this color. So that's going to do it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed all the random chit-chat, all the random conversations that I bring up about all these things. And I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day, and we'll chat again soon. Bye, guys.